Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Ridgecrest City Council meeting. First, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order with roll call.
Mayor Bruin.
Here.
Mr. Blades. Present. Mr. Rajaratnam. Present. Mr. Heyman.
Present.
Ms. Breeden. Here. 5 present. We have a quorum.
This is the original agenda that I'm looking at. We are going into closed session, correct?
We are correct.
Okay, so I just need approval of the agenda, which is, the one I have here is not the current one that I have in front of me, correct?
That's the current one. The thing you're missing is the special meeting notice for closed session, and that's not part of this. You're fine.
Okay, so are we still approving the agenda and then going into closed session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do I have approval of the agenda as presented?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion second.
Please vote. Five ayes, motion carries.
Thank you very much. We are now going to be going into closed session in regards to litigation, and we will return at 6 p.m. Good evening, and we'll go ahead and call this meeting back to order. We have everyone please stand initially for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Solomon, if you would mind leading us in the invocation?
Sure. Please join me in an attitude of prayer. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the Ridgecrest town which you have given to us. Lord, I pray for our country. As we observed National Day of Prayer earlier this month, Lord, I ask you to pour out your love, life, and liberty on this country. Lord, give wisdom to our leaders to guide this country. Lord, as we are going to celebrate Memorial Day, I pray for the people who have given their lives for the liberty of our great nation, Lord. Bless their families. Lord, I pray for our troops who are in harm's way. Protect them from all evil. Pray for all the city council and all the people who are present here today. Bless each one of us and guide us throughout this meeting, Lord, and whatever decisions we make, let them be beneficial to this community. I ask this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Lloyd, are you on the call?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
can we have
Mr.
the attorney
Mayor.
report from closed session, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bruin. Lloyd Pilchin, Assistant City Attorney. City Council met in closed session at 5:30 for a special meeting that was agendized as a special meeting. Conference with legal counsel on existing litigation. The case is called Dever versus City of Ridgecrest. Direction was given. No final action, no reportable action was taken. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is public comment of items not on the agenda. This would be any persons wishing to address the council on matters that are within the council's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council may not take action on any item that does not appear on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes, and the public comment section of the agenda is limited to a total of 1 hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name, and we are continuing to provide both an opportunity to call in or to walk in. Is there any public comment from the floor?
Is his microphone on?
His address is on file. At the last council meeting, there was an item amending the ordinance about cable franchises, I believe, something to that effect. And the city manager gave a little bit of history at that time. And during that, he stated that originally the city had a franchise here for the cable company at the time. And eventually the history became that
Mr. Matthews? That would be an item on the agenda.
that was last month.
No, the second reading is this evening. It's item number 8 on the agenda this evening.
It's on the agenda tonight?
Yes, it is, sir.
Well, all right, then I will wait till then, I guess, except that this was just a general observation.
So go ahead and proceed. I don't want to cut you off. I apologize. I know that we were all trying to, you understand, though, that we can't take any action or discuss it in any way at this time.
Well, I'm not expecting any action. But, okay, I'll wait then.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other public comment? Any other comment from the call-ins? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to council announcements. Any council announcements? I'm just going to say a simple one. For those of you that joined us yesterday evening at the town hall at Kerr-McGee, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We actually, I think, walked out of there with smiles and enjoyment because we were so pleased at how much we got back from the community. And so you guys talked about rebuilding the trust. That's a two-way street, and we love hearing from you and being your involvement. So thank you very much, everyone who joined us last night. We'll be doing more of those. We're not done yet. Next is the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nobody is making that announcement. I want to make this Memorial Day remembrance and honor. Memorial Day, May 31st, 10 a.m. Ceremony will be held at Veterans of Foreign Wars, 117 North Alward Street. So they just wanted us to spread the news. So we would appreciate any support from the public for this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next item on our agenda is the presentations. We've got, this week is Emergency Medical Services Week. And looking at this crowd, I see that none of us are in any danger right now. And with that, I'm going to ask the entire council to join me at the podium. I will then present each of the certificates, and we'll have each of the groups give an opportunity to come up and have a photo, and maybe we'll even throw everyone up at the end. Okay, so I've been on the job 6 months, and I still don't know how to properly do these things, guys, just so you know. First and foremost, there are 4 different groups here. I'm going to read the proclamation, and then I'm going to provide an opportunity for each of those groups to come up and receive it. So this is a proclamation of the City of Ridgecrest, California, honoring Emergency Medical Services Week from May 16th to the 22nd, 2021. Whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, emergency room nurses, emergency physicians, and others. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest, California, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 16th to the 22nd, 2021 as Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme EMS Strong. We encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, and extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our first responders, including the Kern County Fire Department, the Ridgecrest Police Department, Liberty Ambulance, and the Ridgecrest Regional Hospital. Could I first have representatives of the hospital come on up and receive? I'm going to give each of you one.
Thank you for all what you do for this community. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can I get a representative from the, hold on, wait for it. Police Department. Or, yeah, I guess everybody could come down. It's up to you guys. Yeah. Jessica, did you, however you want to do it.
Even us are excited when we see and hear them coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I will present just a quick thank you very much. You guys hear all the time, but it's always true and genuine. Thank you. Second the guts.
I have the golden opportunity to present this to the Kern County Fire Department. Representatives, please come up. Who am I making your presentation to? You. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you do for this entire community, not just the city, but the county and everybody else, because without you, we wouldn't have the safety and protection we already have with all the organizations. And would you like to say something?
I'd just like to thank you for the recognition. It's been a challenging year, especially with COVID for the last year and a half, and seeing the support from the city and the citizens in the county. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Okay, so I have the honor of presenting to the Emergency Medical Services Group. So would all the EMTs please, or Liberty Ambulance and all those involved with the EMT services, please come down. Are you going to be the lucky one to take the award? Okay. I'd just like to say I know how hard that each and every one of you work. Being next door to you, I hear the the sirens going off and know that you're out doing your work, and we appreciate it greatly in the community, and congratulations to each and every one of you. So on behalf of the city.
All right, thank you. Got it, Brian.
Everyone squeeze.
We're getting closer.
Squeeze. Squeeze. Love your neighbor. Not that much.
I wasn't looking at this.
Absolutely.
You guys want to come down for one big shot? Up front? All right. We'll go right up here.
You're short, but you got to be in the front.
Not this time.
No, I'm good. Do it again. Squeeze in. You might have to take a knee.
I do.
Some shields up there? Yeah. Appreciate it, guys.
I'm going to get that down.
I think it's getting smoother and smoother.
Slowly but surely. Luckily, I had 4 that time. Next time, I'll make you guys draw straws.
I didn't see the. You were like, oh, where?
Well, so I said, yeah, I do it. It's okay. I got the direction when I'm like, okay, be ready, playing poker. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you again to all of our EMTs, and thank you again for their incredible services community. Our public safety is a unique aspect of what makes Ridgecrest so special. Next item on the agenda this evening is our consent calendar. All items listed on the consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items may be approved by one motion if no member of the council audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. One item on the consent calendar is the approval of the draft minutes of the Ridgecrest City Council. Do any members wish to have the item pulled? Hearing none, does any member of the public wish to have it pulled? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval of the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
And second.
Please vote. Oh, 5 ayes, motion carries.
I did it.
It just went in last.
Next item on our agenda this evening is item number 3. This is discussion and provide guidance to the city's representative on the board of the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Mr. Heyman.
Thank you, Mayor. The Groundwater Authority did meet on May 12th. It was a routine meeting with the Water Resource Manager's report and the General Manager's report being the highlight of the meeting. So basically, we were just covering routine business. So that was all I have to report on the main GA meeting. We also held a special meeting and a public hearing to discuss the Sorrells Valley Minerals non-payment of replenishment fees. During that meeting, it was deemed that we needed more information and data before we could make any decisions. So with that, we decided to withhold making any decisions and to continue the meeting, which will be held during our regular scheduled GA meeting on the second Wednesday. So that's all I have to report at this point in time.
You want a pen? Mission Bank?
Just for the public, so I think it's good to just always talk about the same old things that we've talked about, just to bring it up. We discussed last night in our town hall that the plan was for the city to enter into an agreement with the GA for our affluent. Is all that plan moving ahead just fine? Everything's as it should be? I guess this is more aimed at Ron.
Yes, it's moving forward. They do have Stetson working with Krieger and Stewart, which is the water district's consultant, on determining what the most beneficial use of that recycled water may be, so we can make a determination of which project they want to move forward. So that is a very good sign, because initially it was the Groundwater Authority going alone on that determination project, and the water district came forward, wanted to participate, so now we have their consultant engaged also, so that's a good sign. So yes, we are moving forward. They do have a timeline for completion, and I do believe they're on track.
Okay, and I know that people are seeing, probably in the community, they're seeing the replenishment fee hit their bills, and I just want to recap why it is they're seeing that. And I don't need you guys to explain it. I think that people should understand that you could just look all over social media. I don't know how many people I've seen talk about their wells have dropped in certain areas, and there has been some minor, and I know maybe you could speak to this because you probably know more, Scott, salinization of some water that was previously fresher than it is now. I'm overgeneralizing, but I don't know if you guys have seen that or if you've seen reports, because that just speaks to the whole reason why the Groundwater Authority is here, why it's doing what it's doing. And I'm just trying to recap that, because I think that when people see it on the agenda, they probably wonder why it is we're bringing it up every time. It couldn't be more important. It's probably the most important thing going on in this valley right now.
I concur in it. It's an extremely important issue for the valley and for every single resident that resides in the basin. And, the goal here is to ensure that we have a stable, quality water supply for not just the future, the present, but for the future, and for the generations that are before, they're coming, in the future, and for security of the base and its operations. That is a vital part of this community. So water is a big issue, and if everyone if you read the papers and you look, you'll see that California's in a drought. There's major issues happening throughout the state. Arizona's having issues. Utah's having issues. It's not going to get better, and I think it is time that we move forward and ensure that we do create a stable water supply for this valley.
The only other topic that I always like to touch on every time, and you have answered these questions before, I'm just asking them for the public. I personally am a data guy, and I think that this community is also heavily involved in data, and I just want to make sure and ask again that the GA is doing all it can to gather data to make sure that we understand everything that's going on in the basin throughout the whole, because I know that it's dynamic, from the north to the west, northwest to the south, there's water coming in. I know that at some point, even in the GSB, it states that there's a variation in the recharge rate, right? And I know that in the GSP, the GA fully plans on gathering some of that data so we can understand the recharge rate and also understand flow in different areas of water. And at some point, you were drilling a well, I think, in the southwest to assess some of those things. I'm just bringing that up now to make sure that we're still steady on with that charter.
Yeah, and I feel confident. My own personal viewpoint is that we have literally scores of individuals from this community, from the Navy, from the city, the valley, that are working together on this groundwater issue. And so when these are very intelligent people, the science, the data, I think that it speaks for itself, and I'm confident that they are utilizing and pulling together some of the the best data that they possibly can to make decisions off of.
Thank you.
On Mr. Blade's point, can you give a little bit I mean, anybody really wants to understand the long version of the information, go watch the GA meeting. But my understanding is that southwest drilling did not go well.
The pun intended, or?
Yeah. No, that that it was scheduled, that they went out there, they drilled, the results that they came back with, not in terms of data results, but how the drilling was conducted, had some challenges. That was discussed in the GA meeting. I'm just recapping.
Yeah, I don't have data in front of me right now, formal data. I know they're coming out with a report and will update everyone on the progress of that well. So I don't want to state information that's unclear, or I don't have,
Go back and watch the GA meeting.
Yeah,
But there was some information that I guess that there was some challenges in the drilling itself that didn't go exactly as planned.
Okay, I can look into that, and we can, we can, gather information
the
on
meeting,
it. But I can guarantee that the outcomes of the drilling out in the southwest area will be made
very public,
available to everybody. Yeah.
I want to go ahead and say, out loud, I think the hearing was conducted in a very professional and a very reasonable manner. I think you guys did a great job of trying to address the concern, which was the first and foremost issue to that audience, which was, would domestic water remain available to that community? I think you guys did a good job of it.
I want to just reiterate on that and make it clear. It was stated, in letter format and in public many times that in no way, shape, or form is the GA going to cut off water supply to the public water supply to the Trona residents, and so that is a huge concern.
Yeah, and what's more, I think you exhibited that. I mean, you even went to to the length of continuing a hearing to make sure that wasn't any kind of a concern or a worry. So I watched the meeting and I thought it was well done.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions for?
Yeah, this is something I've brought up a couple other times. I'm going to bring it up again. In the GSP, there's not just drilling wells, but there was talk of trying to put measuring systems in the various canyons or areas that input into our reservoir. Have you guys? Is that still on the list somewhere? Probably way down on the list of things to do.
Are you referring to stream gauges?
Yes, I am.
They currently exist, and they're being monitored.
Okay, the GSP states there will be new ones or other ones. I don't know.
I believe
and maybe I'm sorry if I'm misspeaking. I don't read it every day. I read it through once completely, and then it's in the back of my mind.
I believe there was some brief talk about measuring other areas of the valley,
right,
through the mountainside, the east side, or the west side, of the...
Right, just to fully understand the recharge.
Yeah, east side of the Sierras on the west side of the...
Right.
But yeah, there, as we get more, that's, I believe, preliminary discussion that there's not been anything actually...
I know your manager now has a lot on their plate, and I'm sure it's down there. I just want to make sure that, as a member of this council, it's important to me. I would love to see the data, and I think that the more we understand that, the more we understand our problem.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is I think those are probably future projects that we can keep updated on.
Roger that.
Kyle, I'm very happy to know that you don't keep a copy of the GSP next to your Bible.
It's on my computer.
I mean,
computer. I've read it all the way through once.
I would have been concerned. Thank you. Any other questions? No. Thank you, Scott. And again, I know that's not a fun committee, but you are doing an incredible task for the long-term future of this community.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to appoint members to the Ridgecrest Area Convention and Visitors Bureau Committee. Rika?
Yeah, currently there is a vacancy on the RICVB committee due to...
I'm sorry. It is public comment. It's an item. Apparently I screwed up, and I'm supposed to ask for public comment on the last item, and I did not. I apologize. That's just something I have to put in my brain to think about. So I'm going to back up. And is there any public comment on item number 3, which is discussion and guidance to the city's representative in regards to the IWV Groundwater Authority? My apologies for not providing that. None on the phone, any from the floor? None. Okay, I apologize again for that mistake. I will do my very best to try and remember. Next item is the appoint members to the Ridgecrest Area Convention of Israel. Ms. Charlon.
So there is a vacancy that currently exists with the departure of Melissa. And so staff has had discussions and talked with Council Member Rajaratnam. And he is okay with being the alternate, is our understanding. And so staff is recommending appointing our current economic development analyst, Megan McKenzie, as the primary, and Mr. Rajaratnam as the alternate. So you guys can hold discussions. If you agree with that, we can do a minute motion and then a roll call vote, because I do not have a slide for that.
Okay. Any discussion on the matter?
I don't think there's much discussion. It was a good choice last time when you appointed Melissa. I said you. Ron brought it up. It was a suggestion. It was a good suggestion because it turns out having the staff right there, ingrained into that position is a good idea. So there's not much discussion to have.
Okay. Can I have a minute motion?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Mayor Bruin.
Aye.
Mr. Blades.
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam.
Aye.
Mr. Heyman.
Aye.
Ms. Bleeden. Aye. 5 ayes. The minute motion does carry for Megan to be the primary and Councilman Rajaratnam to be the alternate.
I need a public comment there too, didn't I? Anybody got an issue?
I'm going to put a little note there.
It's just I'm used to, this is where my colors are showing because I'm used to going through a meeting, boom, 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 and behind closed doors, so my apologies. Next item is item number 5, that is approval of amendment number 1 and associated Schedule A, amendment number 1 to agreement number 0082021, community development activity, COVID-19 special economic development project with the County of Kern. This is essentially the completion of the COVID-19 restaurant grant program, which we provided beginning last December. Ms. Charlon.
Yes, Council. This is essentially just a cleanup. The amendment finalizes the numbers, and we were missing one item on there with the propane tanks. So it puts that in the agreement. And unless you have any questions, there is one thing I did want to mention. There was approximately $3,000 left over from the funds. We're going to be getting some more coronavirus CV3 funds, and we're going to roll that $3,600, I believe it was, into the CV3 fund. So we're not going to lose them, just so you're aware.
Good to know.
Any questions?
Okay. See no questions? Oh, Mr. Solomon? What page?
In the resolution, just a clarification though. So,
sure.
All the way down, number 1 item, it says approves amendment number 1 and the associated Schedule A amendment number 1 of the community development. And you said block grant agreement, but on the top it said Activity City of Ridgecrest COVID-19 Special Economic Development Project. I think we should reference that one on the top.
So the top says approval of amendment number 1 and associated Schedule A, amendment number 1 to agreement number 008-2021.
Community development. And then it said Activity City of Ridgecrest COVID, da, 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 da.
Correct. And what were you wanting to add or change?
But you said block grant agreement here, so I don't know if that is correct or not.
Because one says activity and one says block grant agreement? No, it's okay. It's okay. Actually, the county wrote this resolution for me.
Okay.
So it's going to the Board of Supervisors on June 8th. So
Okay.
since they wrote it, I'm going to assume it's all proper. But I will mention it to them
Sure.
if there's a
Yeah.
problem, but I think we'll be okay. And our council has reviewed it also.
And page 2 of 2.
Are you on the very first agreement or still on the amendment?
One, the Schedule A amendment number 1.
Okay.
Page 2, environmental clearance, 1, 2, 3, 4th line, equipment.
Oh, I see that. Okay. I can change that.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other council comments? Council questions? Any public comment? Thank you, Gary. Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval of the amendment as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Please vote. 5 ayes, motion carries.
Okay, next item is a public hearing. This is a resolution approving, authorizing, and directing execution of a joint exercise of powers agreement related to the California Municipal Finance Authority and approving the issuance of revenue bonds by the authority for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, and improvement of certain facilities for the benefit of Ridgecrest Family Associates, a California limited partnership. We're going to begin by opening the public hearing with Ms. Spurlock.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. This item is to conduct a public hearing pursuant to the Federal Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, or TEFRA. TEFRA requires that public hearings be held by the governing body of the jurisdiction in which a project to be financed with tax-exempt financing is located, and that the governing body approve the proposed financing. Pacific West Communities, Inc. has asked the California Municipal Finance Authority, the CMFA, be the issuer of tax-exempt financing in an amount not to exceed $20 million to finance the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of a multifamily rental housing project located at 600 North Norma Street. The CMFA is a joint powers authority formed to assist local governments, nonprofit organizations, and businesses with the issuance of both taxable and tax-exempt debt. The debt to be issued by the CMFA will be the sole responsibility of the borrower, and the City of Ridgecrest will have no financial or legal obligations or responsibilities with regard to the repayment of the debt. All financing documents will carry disclaimers that the loan is not an obligation of the city. The city will also bear no cost in the issuance of the proposed debt. It is recommended that the City Council adopt a resolution approving the issuance of bonds by the CMFA for the benefit of the borrower. Such adoption is solely for the purposes of satisfying the requirements of TEFRA, the Code, and the California Government Code Section 6500. The resolution will also authorize the mayor or designee thereof to execute the joint exercise of powers agreement with the CMFA. And also, there is a representative from the CMFA on the line if you have any specific questions.
Okay. With this public hearing open, we'll go ahead and begin with any discussions from council.
I have one question. I'm not sure I understand the purpose of this. I can see what it's going to accomplish, and this is basically, in my mind, a fixing item. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
Okay,
It is for raising 20 million.
Yeah, this is their ability to raise the funds by using.
I got it, yeah.
Okay.
But we're just giving them, I mean, we're making it, instead of fixing, we're making this possible.
Facilitating / giving permission to the ability to, because the city has to have an awareness and approve the development and the issuance of. We're the gatekeeper to their access to the funds.
Okay.
You want the perfect word.
Now I understand.
Okay.
So basically, the total project is a grant, which is like 11 million, I think, right?
Yeah.
11.2 million.
11.2 million, and then this 20 million. So that is the total cost of the project, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But they're using the CMFA to use to get a lower interest tax bond for financing the 20 million rather than through a conventional lender. And therefore, we are the gatekeepers to providing they're okay to go through CMFA.
Okay.
So I do have a question. CMA, it says on page, I don't know, into the staff report fiscal impact, it says CMFA shares a portion of the issuance fee it receives with the member community. So do we know how much we'll be getting from this?
Is it Ben?
Yeah, it's Ben Barker. Yeah, so when CMFA issues the bonds, we have an issuance fee. We share 25% of our issuance fee with the host municipality. And right now it's estimated about $8,600 will be going back to the city's general fund.
Thank you, sir.
And just to clarify the previous comments, what you're approving is that you're holding a public hearing, letting the public know that the CMFA will be entering the bond market to access tax-exempt financing. So the city, this is not for the city. The city's not issuing bonds. It's the CMFA that's issuing the bonds for the project.
So the first step is for the city to become a member of the CMFA, correct?
That's correct.
So for that, do we need a resolution, sir?
The resolution, it's a joint resolution that approves both things at the same time.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other council comments? Okay. Any public comments? We're going to do public comments from the floor, and then we'll do phone. Speak on the microphone.
I don't like the smell of this. Specifically, first of all, I think somewhere in there was language that said this organization, whatever it is to help finance things that are going to improve the city, the surroundings, the community. I don't think this project fits that category. So I didn't approve of the project to start with. And now we're going through and letting them come up with public endorsement is what it sounds like to raise funds. And I don't think we could do that for anybody else. So I don't want it done for this outfit either. I'm totally against it. And that's my thoughts.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment from the floor? Seeing none, Gary, do we have any public comment on the phones? I apologize, I couldn't see Gary's wave.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Caller, state your name. Indicated we had one, right?
Yeah.
Caller, state your name.
I think he's trying to work it out.
Hello?
Can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear anybody.
For a second, I heard something.
I'm going to give it about 10 more seconds. Yeah, we'll bring it back to council comments if you want to. Okay, Gary's waving her hand saying nope. Okay. Caller, if you do call back in, we'll let you jump back in there. With no other public comments, are there any other final council comments?
Just want to clarify one thing in response to Mr. Dave Matthews. I think this is the affordable housing project which was already approved by us, correct?
That's correct.
So it has already been approved long time back.
Mm-hmm.
So,
This was approved by council, I believe, last May.
January.
January, later.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to address those too, because to say that you're against the ability to finance this sounds like we don't want it. And if that's a way to make sure the project doesn't happen, I think it's not our place to do that.
Be sure you're speaking in microphones. We're not.
I'm
getting
sorry,
it.
could you all hear that? No. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I wanted to say that if you're against the financing of it, Mr. Matthews, I think it's inappropriate for us, because you don't like the project, to not be involved in the financing. It's inappropriate on our part if it is done in a legal and an efficient manner.
Okay. Any other council comments? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, since our caller did not return. And do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
Motion and second.
Please vote. Yeah. 5 ayes, motion carries.
I was the only one up there?
I was just teasing them. No, I was going to say we should make Eric read the whole thing because it was long.
Oh, yeah. I just like to read. Next item up is in ordinances. This is item number 7. This is the second reading and adoption of an ordinance of the City Council of Ridgecrest awarding a non-exclusive taxi franchise to Ridgecrest Taxi and approving a taxi cab franchise agreement. This was read at our previous ordinance. Mr. Reed?
Good evening, Council. As you said, it's the second reading. Last meeting, you guys asked us to look into the name. It is, in fact, a fictitious business name. Ridgecrest Taxi is a joint partnership. It is not an LLC. So in the opinion of myself and Ms. Charlon, we believe that the verbiage on the ordinance is sufficient.
Okay. Is there any council discussion?
None here.
No council discussion? Any public discussion? Seeing no public discussion, do I have a motion to waive the reading in full of Ordinance 2104 of the Ridgecrest City Council awarding a non-exclusive taxi franchise to Ridgecrest Taxi and approving a taxi cab franchise agreement?
So moved.
If we don't, would you have to read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Second.
Sure.
I'm just, it's seconded.
I didn't realize that's what you were thinking, but if you literally had the bet on the meeting, that would be a great way to win it.
Can we hear this up now? He's wanting you to read tonight, apparently.
I got it. Now I figured it out. I was missing that in the joke until I got it. Please vote was stated, right?
Well, yes, please vote. Five ayes, motion carries.
Next item is I'd like to make a motion to adopt by title only the ordinance 2104 of the Ridgecrest City Council awarding a non-exclusive taxi franchise to Ridgecrest Taxi and approving a taxi cab franchise agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second.
Please vote. It's just not liking you today, Solomon. 5 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Now, the key is you could have made me read both, which would have been rough. The next item is item number 8. This is the second reading and adoption of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest repealing Article 4 of Chapter 7 and Ordinance 185 regarding cable television franchises and replaced with a new state video franchise ordinance. Mr. Strand.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, 1974, we established by ordinance a video franchise ordinance. In 2006, the state passed a new digital video franchise ordinance and established the state's responsibility over those franchises and how they're issued. We have currently one state video franchisee in town, that's Mediacom. They were one of our original franchisees under the old ordinance. In 2009, when they became a state franchise, they no longer were under our ordinance. At that point in time, we should have updated this ordinance. We didn't do so, so we're updating it now to get within compliance of the state law. And that's what's before you tonight.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and begin with council comments. No council comments. Any public comments? This is item number 8, Mr. Matthews.
While Mr. Matthews is making his way, there is right? Isn't was there 5% of gross revenue of the state video franchise? There is a certain amount of money that will come back that maybe, we talked about this last time, that's why we had to clean it up.
16,000?
Right. We currently, the state franchise ordinance requires the entities to provide a 5% franchise fee to the city, due to the fact that we have to establish and monitor their customer service standards and have some sort of penalty in place that we can enforce if they violate it. The state didn't want to have part of the enforcement, so they put it on the cities, and as such, we get a 5% franchise fee. This also establishes a 1% PEG fee, public education and government fee. Currently, that would net us about $16,000 a year under the current franchise fee that's paid by Mediacom. And that would go directly to IT to help, staff our media outreach for our public meetings, as well as for the cost of the infrastructure and the equipment and the replacement.
And the PEG was what was missing, right, from the ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Matthews.
Mr. Matthews, do you have a question?
I guess I do now. I thought this had actually been approved at the last meeting. That's why I was addressing it under public comment. I didn't see that it was going to be up again tonight. But in making this amendment, and I guess from what I understand is that the state has already dictated something earlier, which we just didn't update. Is that correct?
Correct. In 2006, the state passed a law that took away the city's ability to establish franchises for video, and they took it upon themselves.
My question then is, did we as a city lose any control over what the cable company does in our city?
In some degree, yes, but primarily no. We still have our entitlements and our ability to issue encroachment permits. In other words, we control how they put their infrastructure within our city. So this was all brought up with Race, a company that wants to come into town and install fiber optics. This brought this issue to a forefront. But yes, we still have the ability to work with them on how the city will require that infrastructure to be placed into our right-of-way.
Okay, well, and then in addition to that, does the state have any control over what we see or hear or can do with that cable in our city?
You mean like what programs?
I'm sorry?
You mean like what programs? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Like whether you're going to see
Well,
a Food Network or something else? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking whether or not the state can dictate what we can do with that cable.
Well, it's not our cable.
Yeah.
It's going to be owned by Race.
It'll be owned by.
I understand that.
And Race will provide a service to the customers, and our responsibility is to make sure they have certain customer service standards. But no, we don't We
have
don't
no
control
content.
race and tell them what they can and cannot do with that. That would be another government entity, probably the FCC, would cover what content went over that fiber.
All right, well,
It's no different, this is no different than what Mediacom's currently doing. So if you have Mediacom, they're already being regulated by the appropriate state and federal
Let's just
agencies.
keep our eye on it, because I don't trust the state, let's put it that way, no matter what they do.
If it helps, Mr. Matthews, we know you don't. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, hearing none. Do I have any other council comments? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to waive the reading in full of Ordinance 2105 of the City Council of Ridgecrest, California, an ordinance repealing Article 4, Chapter 7 of the Ridgecrest Municipal Code, and Ordinance 185 regarding cable television franchises, and replace with a new state video franchise ordinance?
Motion to approve as read.
Second.
Please vote. I think our Wi-Fi is a little bit off tonight. Now it's a race.
Come on, man, come on.
You just had to want to make your reading. You're just gonna-
Yeah, it's your comment. You jinxed yourself. 5 ayes, motion carries.
All right.
Next, may I propose a motion to adopt by title only Ordinance 2105 of the City Council of Ridgecrest, California, an ordinance repealing Article 4, Chapter 7 of the Ridgecrest Municipal Code, and Ordinance 185 regarding cable television franchises, and replace with new state video franchise ordinance.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and second.
Please vote. 5 ayes,
Wow.
motion carries.
Hoorah!
Speeding it up. I pushed the button.
Okay. Next on our agenda is committee reports. First one up is Finance. That's you and I. Finance Committee is meeting next Monday. The biggest reason we delayed or canceled from this week is we are still getting details in on ARP. We don't really want to dive into huge conversations on ARP until we know what the state's going to tell us in terms of restrictions, what are the conditions that are going to be provided. I would remind everybody that like any government program, they announced, I don't know if those of you are familiar with Save Our Stages, that was the program to support performance arts and things of that nature. They announced it December 27th. They finally opened it for applications April 15th. So like any other government organization, we hope we have good information by the end of this week on ARP, but I will just remind everyone, we're not going to get into the depths until we really got good information. Other than that, I want to remind everybody that we have our budget workshop committee meeting next Wednesday, I believe.
No, I was going to announce this during the city manager comment. We're moving it to next Thursday at 5:30.
June 3rd, not next
June 3rd.
Thursday. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh,
Yes, sir, 2 weeks. June
hey,
3rd.
we got another week. I'm just kidding.
What time?
5:30.
You'll send a notification.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll be noticing that next week, so there'll be a notice going out.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so the budget hearing will be happening on June 3rd. That's the new plan.
Right here.
But we're obviously getting work done on it. It'll be here at the.
It will be here, and it'll be televised in a regular.
Yeah, the
forum.
budget workshop is a fully televised.
Yep.
I don't have a lot else from finance, nothing since last meeting. Okay. Infrastructure.
We meet not tomorrow, but the Thursday, the 27th. So, coming up.
Economic development.
We did not meet.
Quality of life, nothing since the last meeting. Actually, one thing from the last meeting, but it's not, I guess I'm not trying to make sure I'm making sure that the public who has a chance to listen to these videos hears. We had a really good town hall session last night talking about pool, and I said one thing during it that just I want to reiterate. We talked about Plan A, B, and C a couple months ago, Quality of Life. You know, Plan A is the grant. It's submitted. I understand we might hear earlier, Narissa, because I heard July last night, but I was figuring September. It's possible. Everyone out there, just remember your possibilities. And then the other thing we've been doing is we've been talking to our elected officials and other channels to look at what are other options out there for Plan B and Plan C. And it looks like there may be another potential avenue to pursue in terms of grant funding. It might take a little bit longer and require some matching money. But again, I just want the public to hear that we're not just closing off one avenue. We're trying to open as many other avenues that we think may be possibilities so that if the SPP doesn't work through, we have a next stage to take forward to.
George, you didn't mention that was for the pool. So
Yes.
I didn't hear you say that, but I just want to make sure everybody understood.
Oh, yeah. We are working towards a pool solution.
So for quality of life, I'm noticing on social media there's a lot of programs being offered right now by Parks and Rec. A lot of programs. I mean, it seems like there's a huge list of things
coming up. They're
coming up.
ramping
I just saw it being passed around. I just want to know, make sure the public was aware.
Now I could go into the question, because my question is going to be, is she able to hire anybody based on what's going on right now? Huh?
I said, do you want to ask that?
Yeah, exactly.
publicly?
That's what, I mean, we have a full schedule of people, but they were literally running 2 people. That's one of the things that came out of the last Quality of Life report.
So we still have our day camp program. We've got enough enrollment to go with that. We were able to hire 5 employees for that, so we're staffed for that program. We're still planning to hold the ICS basketball camp and volleyball camp. By then, hopefully, everything should be open, so we're still on target with that. We do have the virtual classes still going, and we're going to be looking into, once we get the okay to have things indoor, planning some sort of maybe adult basketball tournament. So we're trying to do some stuff. We are in the process of interviewing for the front desk staff, but we're not done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
RACVB. They were supposed to meet this morning, but I understand it didn't happen, right?
They did not have a meeting. Right. But I have some updates. I have some good news, finally. The week of May 15th, the occupancy has increased to 61% from previous week's 41%. So, and the revenues have gone up from 255,000 to 384,000. So that's good news. So the bigger hotels like Marriott, Hampton, they're all fully occupied. Marriott's occupancy is 97%. Hampton Inn is 92%. With regard to CWC, they got the plans back, but they needed to get some minor changes, so they were sent back to them. So they are expecting shortly. So once that comes back, then they will submit for plan approval. So
I'm assuming that's the one at the corner of Ward and the other hotel that's not under construction yet, CWC?
Welcome Center.
Well, Welcome Center.
Sorry.
California.
California Welcome Center.
California Welcome Center. Got it. Sorry. I was getting mixed up.
Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you. Oh, one more thing, Rika. It says here it's on the second Wednesday, but the meeting is actually on the third Wednesday, so you may want to make a correction there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It has been like that forever. I just noticed. It's my fault.
You went how many agendas before noticing, Solomon? Oh.
That's not, I can't,
It's just not acceptable.
To an end.
That's great. Okay, next, other committees, boards, or commissions?
I have KernCog tomorrow.
League of California Cities, we talked about it last time, but there was a little survey they did after you had left, and I got back in the minutes, and it had some interesting information. I just thought, this is from the people that were participating in the survey. What is your outlook for your community? And this is across, all of the Desert Mountain divisions. So that's Apple Valley, Victorville, Ridgecrest, these areas, Barstow, Yucca Valley. And 73% of the people that were participating had a positive outlook on the next 12 months for their community, and only a 7% concerned about the future of their communities over the next 12 months. I thought that was interesting, just to see the level of optimism that cities have across the state, or across our area.
I have to report on the East Kern Economic Alliance. And Dave, would you help me along with this too? Because you are on the board of the B3K. And I thought that was the most exciting report that we got on that. So if I don't cover it as well as you need to, would you consider adding to that? I was amazed at what they had to say. There was 11% net growth in Kern. That Kern jobs are number 3 in the state in the job postings. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it means that there's openings and opportunities here in Kern County. There was a number of reports from Richard about. There was almost a 100-page report, and I invite you to go to the Kern EDC economic website and look at it. It was pretty interesting, and so I would ask that we look at that and see. We also had the opportunity at the city to introduce our new economic development person, Megan McKenzie. And in the past, when I attended these meetings, I always deferred to Melissa to do the reporting because she had an even more close association with what was happening, and I heard it either in the meetings or from her. So I asked her to do the reporting. I'm asking if I can still attend, and if you want me to, I'd be happy to, but I would like to get Megan involved in that, and if staff doesn't have any problem with that, I'd like to see her listen, because we hear reports from each of the cities, and what they're doing might be informational and informative for actions and how they're doing things. And I think it's important that she attend those meetings and report for us. And Dave and I and you attended, and Ron attended, and Megan attended. And so we have a pretty strong attendance at those meetings, and I would like to continue to have Megan grow in that position with that help.
Yes.
Does Megan have the bandwidth?
Does she what?
Does she have the capacity?
Yes.
She has the capacity to certainly listen and learn from it, if
Right.
nothing else, and I think she certainly is going to even more than that.
I would say for the first 6 months, I will be attending those also and helping Megan.
And I will be too. But I think it's important that she, because as the other cities get to know her, especially I'm very impressed with the work that Tehachapi does. And listening to all that goes on there, I believe we have the opportunity to learn. And they have the opportunity to learn from us, because we know that East Kern is where, depending on the rises and falls of ag and oil, East Kern is where things are going to be happening. Dave, do you have anything else you'd like to say what happened at that meeting?
I think you covered it.
Okay.
Yeah. Ron was there, I was there. I mean, you covered it.
Okay. All right. That's my report on that meeting.
Okay. Any other committees, boards, or commissions? Nope. City manager report?
Nothing at this time.
Future agenda items. Any specific future agenda items to be considered?
Last night, since we had such a, I thought, successful town hall, did you want to speak about another one in the future?
Well, sure. Mr. Blades made a suggestion. I've spoken with City Manager Strand, and we haven't spoken as a council yet, but I think that the general consensus from all of us was last night was very good. With the one thing that we want is we need to get further out there in engaging people that aren't engaging as often, is getting a larger breadth of public involvement. And we're going to look for a solution to accomplish that. The current suggestion is using like a multi-purpose room of some kind at one of our larger, like either DCC or another facility, so they don't feel like they're coming straight to the city for a city meeting. Kerr-McGee worked fine, but just the same as people don't come to a meeting, they want to come to someplace that's more comfortable and try to get a larger public outreach. That's the big thing.
We had 17 there last night.
Which was great.
And that didn't include staff. That was 17 people.
So there's definitely thought process that we're going to continue that town hall. I think we've got the next month will probably be wrapped up in budget conversations. We've got the workshop, 2 meetings on budget. We'll probably want to get a ARP thought process nailed down, and then probably sometime during the summertime. Maybe we can have it outdoors at 6 o'clock. That was a joke.
At 110
At 110 degrees.
Bet.
We'll be in shade. Actually, we can do it at the softball field. We'll be shaded. You guys all on the field. I'm just kidding. The bottom line is we got exactly what we hoped last night, which is we want the community to have a chance to see us, our body language, how passionate we are about actually doing some of these things to move the community forward. And we want to get that message out even further to the community because Mr. Janice put it best last night. You know, it's not about just fixing the communication, but it's also about fixing the trust that came from that communication. And I think we're on the way to doing that. So the only other future agenda item I have, and I mentioned it last night in the town hall, I have no idea how we would ever make it happen, but I'd like to throw crazy ideas on the wall and see what happens. Myself and Solomon both work in financial services. We see a world of different sorts of needs, and I've seen one just emerging in force since COVID, and that is what I would call the micro-lending aspect, which is commercial lending between $100,000 and $500,000. And I'm not saying either of our organizations, I'm not talking about that, I'm just talking about, is there any type of economic solution, whether it be a revolving loan fund access or another group, is there something out there that we can facilitate greater access to our small local businesses having access to expansion or development credit or lending when they're willing to make a high stakes investment already in their own cash investment. These are not, hey, I just have an idea and give me, a bunch of money. But when there's equitable investment or stuff like that, it seems very challenging for these people to find. I know I right now in the last 30 days have spoken to at least eight different businesses seeking that type of thing that I haven't been able to help them because it's not in my wheelhouse. But more importantly, is I'm coming to you as mayor, not as my other hat, saying what other options are there out there that we can look at, either even from ARP or from other options, potentially to help microfinance in a revolving loan fund or other things. I don't know. I want to throw it out there and see what we can come up with.
City engaged in this once upon a time with our tax allocation bond money, and it didn't turn out well.
I'm well aware, but that we gave the money, and I'm not trying to, I think that's one of the big things, is there's a big difference between giving and potentially guaranteeing against default. There's a drastic difference between those two, because one says that we are going to give it to you without the same level of expectation, and one, a guarantee off default, says that the institution is still going to carry the broadest base of the risk, but maybe we can get other institutions involved by having some type of guarantee function that we could bring to, other lenders to open up those doors. Worth exploring, that's all. Any other future agenda items? Okay, mayor and council comments? We'll go right to left. Peggy?
No, thank you.
None.
I don't think I have any other than I want to thank everyone who came out last night. I really enjoyed it. My wife didn't understand why I was so happy when I got home. But I had a great time. I think anytime we can speak honestly and fairly with our community is exactly what we chose to put ourselves through by being up here. And it was a pleasure. So thank you for coming, and thank you. Please, if you're listening to this video or you're there last night, please take my advice and tell 10 people of what you saw as a difference, because that, in Ridgecrest, word of mouth is more powerful than any other marketing tool in terms of getting the message out.
I just have one comment. I got a call from, this is on historic district. So one of the owners of the properties called. She said she came to City Hall, wanted to find out what it means to her. So nobody could give any information on that. I looked at the RMC, and there was only one definition about what historic structure is. So I talked to Planning Commission, wanted them to look into the RMC and find out, or if they need to come up with some kind of guidelines for historic district. I wanted them to explore into that.
I believe it should have had no impact because it was simply a proclamation, correct?
Her worry was, are people going to come and see? Are they going to invade their privacy because it's a historic property or whatever it is? So,
You mean having the property open to people? Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
So that might be a financial impact to the property owner?
She wanted to know what it means to her.
Okay,
So mainly.
all right.
It probably means nothing,
Yeah.
Okay.
because it's just like what Mayor Bruin said before, it's like just giving somebody the key to the city. So it really has no long-standing impact. It's not on the property title, it's not on our general plan as a historic district.
Title.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's more of just a designation that the city council recognizes that this is a historic buildings. So it's more of,
It's ceremonial. It's ceremonial, but it allows for other developments to happen, not from a physical construction development, but you're just like any other business. We are part of the historical district. This proclamation of the city that was made on April whatever.
I looked at other cities' municipal codes, and there was some kind of instructions
Right.
there.
We could have went that road.
Yeah, okay.
There were two roads in front of us when we did it. There was the municipal code road, which
And
would have
then,
went
yes,
through the state
right, proclaim it.
and proclaims it and titles it and does all that. And there was Road A, which was the fast, quick, and clean road, which was a proclamation, primarily so that then, as I've learned the CWC, got a new acronym now. When the CWC gets to putting it together, they can acknowledge it in that way.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, and the other road is still available.
Yes. We can always do that.
Okay. Yeah, the bottom line is I asked Planning Commission to look into that. Thank you.
Mr. Blades?
Nothing.
Nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I will bring to an end our May 19th. Who has 7:20? Let me wait. I could talk, but
actually, it's 7:19, so I'm closer.
okay. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone have a wonderful Wednesday. It's a great day to be in Ridgecrest. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on June the 3rd.